am at a new place for garden time. I am at Pollinate Flowers, actually at their farm with John, the owner. And so John, tell us about Pollinate Flowers.
Sure. So we are a regenerative cut flower farm located in the Dundee Hills, just south of Portland. And we grow cut flowers, perennial, annual. We grow a lot of medicinal herbs and berry shrubs, and have kind of a regenerative ecosystem that helps us farm in a more harmonizing way with nature.
That is a really interesting idea because you really want to have them as clean as possible. You don't really want to use any kind of chemicals, organic or synthetic.
Correct. And in the cut flower world, there is a lot of chemical use, especially because they aren't regulated as a food crop. So there's very toxic chemicals that can be sprayed on cut flowers. And so we're trying to create a model where the flowers are really clean and safe to be used both by the florists and to stick your face in and smell them, put in your bathtub, whatever. And then it also is really good for obviously the insect life, from bacteria all the way up to like the birds and the snakes and the frogs. So.
And you know, I think as gardeners we forget about that. We forget about below ground.
Yeah.
And you really have a system that you've kind of developed. So tell us a little bit about that mounding.
Yeah, totally. So we are really into farming the soil, and because the plant gets everything that it needs from the soil. And so we're thinking of the soil first. And so we think of the soil as its own ecosystem, where there is a whole bunch of stuff going on 12 months out of the year. And so we're trying not to disturb that ecosystem, and we're trying to actually farm it and regenerate the soil, because this was originally just grass. Originally, in the last 30 years or so, it's been grass. And so we're trying to increase the soil life, because the soil life actually breaks down all of the minerals and nutrients into forms that the plants can then take up and use. So we do compost mounded beds, where we just mound compost on top of last year's mound and then plant right into that. We do some amending with basic lime and kelp and things like that. And the idea is not to disturb the soil life, to just keep mounding on top and then planting the plants into that.
Wow. And so we just came out of a horrible heat wave. And so how did all your plants survive?
Yeah, so actually the plants did pretty well through the heat wave, because of how much water compost holds. So that's another reason why the compost is really great for us. It's not just about building the soil life, but also about holding moisture. And so we actually only had to water like every 4 days or so out here, even when it was over 100 degrees. We do drip irrigation. And so that water is just going right down deep into the ground, and then the compost is holding that moisture, which allows the plants to survive through those hot afternoons.
Wow, you know, so many good tips for us as gardeners. I mean, for anything, when you have just a regular garden just to enjoy. So that's really, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we need to go back to like cutting flowers, because I think it's always good to give us tips about how to do that, because we want to bring those flowers in and enjoy them in our homes too.
Yes, absolutely. So talking about heat, one of the things to think about when you're cutting flowers is in the hot afternoons, all plants pull moisture out of their leaves into the roots so they can store it. It's not transpiring as much through their leaves in the hot afternoon. And so you really want to cut the flowers in the morning when they're fully hydrated. Overnight, the plant's pulling that moisture back into the leaves, and then the stems and the flowers are fully hydrated. So we're trying to harvest pretty much everything before noon, especially on the really hot days. And then we also try and harvest things before they are fully open. So once a flower is fully open, it's getting pollinated, and then it's slowly dying, turning into seed. And so you have a very short vase life if you're harvesting when they're fully open. So for the most part, we are harvesting the flowers when they're in the bud stage. They're just showing a little bit of color before all the bees and pollinators get in there. We're plucking them off the plant so that we get that longer vase life. So a couple big tips there for you.
Very much. Oh, very much. So you want to plant 2 and 3 of everything so you still have color in your garden and bring it indoors.
Absolutely, because you're going to be cutting those buds off so you won't see the blooms in the garden.
Definitely.
So yes, plant a couple, one just to let bloom and one to harvest on.
Oh, this has been so eye-opening and such an amazing place, and just the synergy here, it's been exciting. And so how can we learn more about you or come visit?
Absolutely. So we have our website, pollinateflowers.com. If you're in Newburgh, Dundee, Sherwood, or McMinnville, you can order delivery from that website. We also have a shop in downtown Newburgh, a little flower shop. where we do a build your own bouquet bar. We have little market bunches. We have some of the products, essential oils and stuff that we make right here on the farm as well.
Oh man.
So, and dried flowers. So
Excellent.
lots of good stuff there.
Oh, excellent. So another place to visit and really to kind of have some flowers or get some ideas. So please go to gardentime.tv, we'll click over their website, and you need to go visit Pollinate Flowers. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.